Thank you for this treasure space to make this statement before you and my colleagues. Mr. Speaker, as captured in the vote and proceedings of Friday, the 31st of January, paragraph 5 and page 7, you had cause to deliver a formal communication. With communication, you outline your displeasure on matters at the appointment committee on the evening of Thursday, the 30th of January, and the morning of Friday, the 31st of January. Mr. Speaker, indeed, your response to the events as a leader and the head of this assembly was indeed timely to assure the public that indeed this House is ready to uphold democracy and to do what is right in the eyes of the public. That notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, I had ferried to your office a memo dated the 3rd of February 2025, where I raised some procedural concerns regarding the outcome of your communication. Mr. Speaker, to couch the matters that arose in proper perspective, on the said day, the Thursday, the 30th of January, as per the practice, we had agreed to proceed to vet some 4 nominees. Originally, we were supposed to do 3. This 4 later changed to 5. Around about 10 p.m. of the evening, we had indications from our colleagues in the majority that they intend to continue the vetting for more nominees rather than agreed. Mr. Speaker, on the corridors of the vetting room were many people, including nominees. Our understanding was that they had all been invited. Mr. Speaker, there was no room for us to discuss the way forward, which resulted in our decision as the minority to protest. Our intention was to have a peaceful protest to express our displeasure at the excesses of our colleagues in the majority. We acknowledge that in the process, the situation got out of hand, resulting in the outcome you commented upon. We hereby assure you that we shall, as the minority, cooperate with you in upholding the integrity and the dignity of this House. Mr. Speaker, we also want to assure you that we will undertake a deeper, and emphasis mine, a deeper consultation and commit to this with our colleagues. Suffice to state that from day one that Mr. President started ferrying his nominees to this House, we have given this government our utmost cooperation. Mr. Speaker, record will have it that this is the first time in the history of our democracy that the minority has given the government such a cooperation to the extent that nominees are getting their confirmation in record time. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, I am on record to have made an application to this House under Order 3. This has never happened by any minority leader in the history of our democracy. We believe in constructive criticism. We are not in any way in to disrupt government business, frustrate them, or undermine them. Both parties have been in government before and have been in opposition before. We know that it is not through disruption that would win us power come 2028. It is through active, constructive politicking. Mr. Speaker, we have become aware of the consequences of orders you have issued as a result of the formal communication you have given. But this is what we have to say. And I quote from Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. Mr. Speaker, you remember the story of Shylock when he demanded his pound of flesh. A plea came from Portia, who was the supposed counsel for the debtor. Mr. Speaker, this is what he had to say, and I rely on it to mount the next line of my submission. That the quality of mercy is not strained, drop it as a gentle rain from heaven upon the earth beneath. It is twice blessed. It blessed him that gives and him that takes. Mr. Speaker, we cannot take your power through discipline from you. But we believe that when this is tempered with assurance that the way forward will be better, you will be able to reinstate our colleagues who temporarily have been denied access to this chamber and the precincts of Parliament. Ours is not to undermine your authority. After all, it is the confidence we had in you that made us, by consensus, to vote you into office. And we accept your authority. Mr. Speaker, we do not think that we should litigate this matter, even on procedure. We are more interested in the outcome, which is not a desired outcome. Today, I, on behalf of my caucus, would want to assure the public that such an action will not be seen in the public space again. Mr. Speaker, I take full responsibility as a leader on my side on all actions that took place. I will therefore conclude by inviting you, Mr. Speaker, to, in the circumstance and with assurances given, to consider a rescission of the decision you communicated to the House, as well as all consequential matters thereto. Mr. Speaker, without more, I shall thank you for hearing me and resume my seat. Thus far shown by you and that of my respected senior colleague and senior at the bar who leads the House, we will make things better, and that we would have a big stomach to accommodate ourselves, especially we sitting to your left, the minority. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Leader, and I know, but the only pathway to success is to act in good faith. Mr. Speaker, since the chair has spoken for the records and for Hansel, let me respond to him appropriately to the best of my knowledge. Mr. Speaker, yesterday night, and because of the happenings, the person who received the document signed, the draft report got to my office, it was signed. I called, I invited our clerk, and I have my text messages as evidence. I invited her to come so that together we can sit and discuss the issues. Mr. Speaker, may the backbenchers and the young ones in appreciate the spirit of the House this afternoon. It is government business. If you think you can be making noise, your government business will delay. Whilst you await your nomination, make the noise for recognition. That is why you've not been nominated yet. Those who don't make noise have been nominated. Mr. Speaker, those who don't make noise have been nominated.
Honorable Majority Leader, address me.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, yes. That is your role, to make noise. Go ahead. Mr. Speaker, I invited the clerk to come for us this morning. Unfortunately, I received a call from another officer that the clerk was unable to come because she has to meet with you. So another officer came, called Madam Ekua Drua. I know her in this house. She came with another gentleman, and we went through, because I have records of all the documents that the nominees had indicated they were going to provide to us. So we went through. One nominee has provided some of the documents. The rest are yet to. So we went through the records and they took note that they were going to follow up. The other nominee has not provided a single document that he himself promised to provide to us. So I even suggested to them that in view of that, we can take those nominees who don't have any issue at all, so that those we are waiting the documentation, when those documents come, we'll deal with it. Just on the corridors, they assured me that they were chasing for those documents. My respected colleague engaged me and indicated that whilst we wait for those documents, we could proceed. I told him that I do not have any problem with the assurance that those documents will come, because these are nominees who are spoken on record that they were going to provide the document. It's been days after the vetting. If they said they had it, why are they not bringing those documents? So, Mr. Speaker, for my respected colleague, the chair of the committee, to spring a surprise, these are some of the frustrations we go through. And Mr. Speaker, I speak on my 5 points of fellowship. I am not acting in bad faith. In all truthfulness, I am not aware that the report has been signed. And we all know that before the chair signs, the clerk will sign. If indeed the engagement with me this morning, where we agreed that they were going to get those documents, is any engagement to go by, then how would it be that the clerk would sign with a check, knowing that they brought me a draft report? Mr. Speaker, I would want to plead with my colleagues. Let us spend more time to Jojo. I will not frustrate you. It is your government. You must form the government. Mr. Speaker, I can only constructively criticize you after you form your government. I do not have any business holding you back. I want that to be on record. But the approach, Mr. Speaker, is not the best. The approach is not the best. If he still wants to proceed, Mr. Speaker, in spite of all I have said, I would not mind. Of the nominees, we have only two issues. We are voting, we are taking you through a secret ballot on two nominees, and I've indicated to you the Honorable Sam George and Honorable Ablakwa. All the others, can I finish? Can I finish? All the others, by consensus, we don't have a problem. However, those documents that they promised bringing to us must be available. That is the only condition. I don't have any other problem. Mr. Speaker, limiting ourselves to even the 10th report. This is the very problem that I've been raising from day one. When the clerks reached out to me this morning, and we had a meeting this morning on the draft, the understanding reached was that they will engage our respected colleague, Sam George, to bring the rest of the document to enable us finalize the report. That is the 10th report. Mr. Speaker, here is a situation that without reaching out to me again, we have our clerk co-signing the report with the chair. Mr. Speaker, let the record reflect that per the practice of this House, leaders of committees would always have to sign off before a committee report is finalized and brought to this chamber. It is only when the one side has given a firm indication of its intent that the issue of a minority report would arise. Mr. Speaker, this is not the case, and this is where I would want to reserve my comment on the actions of our secretariat in private. I wouldn't speak about the actions of the secretariat anymore in public. But Mr. Speaker, I am happy that the clerk to Parliament is in this chamber and is hearing. It is a bit a challenge what is happening. Mr. Speaker, I beg to say that until all the information that the nominee himself has committed to providing are provided, until all those documents are provided, we cannot finalize the report. I have therefore no hesitation at all in saying that for Honorable Abdul Rashid Hassan Purple, Honorable Ibrahim Mutala Muhammad, Honorable Kofi Idi Adams, and Honorable Joseph Bukari Nikbe, we can take them because this is by consensus. We shouldn't allow one person's issue to stand in the way of other nominees we don't have a problem with. And in fact, let me publicly state this. If our respected colleague brings the outstanding documents and these documents are satisfactory, we have no hesitation changing our position. We've done that in the case of Honorable Emmanuel Amakofibua. We took a decision to take him through a vote. The issue that we had with him, we resolved it. The majority leader, my good self, and the chair, we resolved it. and upon resolution, we amended the record right here on the floor of the House. Nobody should create the impression that someone is in to frustrate somebody's political appointment. No. But, Mr. Speaker, the very things that our colleagues demanded when they were in opposition are the very things that we are demanding from them. So they should take it easy and engage us the more rather than the confrontation. The confrontation will not work. Confrontation will not work. We have a 4-year journey. This is just the 3rd week. So they should take it easy with us. It's not the intimidation and the attack, the social media, that will get me, Kwamina, to be cowed. It will not work. I have seen all this before. So, but I want to do the work in a manner that you as colleagues will know that I respect you. I will not disrespect any nominee. After all, you are going to be our minister. But please, let the right thing be done in the interest of the nation. Mr. Speaker, that is all I demand.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, my colleague on the other side knows that we have never really complied with that mechanism. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, you know, it is new. It is new, and we are yet to begin to warm up to that process. But, Mr. Speaker, I have heard my colleague on the other side, and I just note that this report has some inconsistency, because you have the main body of the report on one of the nominees saying that it is by majority decision, and then in the concluding portion of the report indicating that it is by consensus. So there's a problem with the report. So, Mr. Speaker, I will ask for a short suspension of sitting for me to engage with my colleague on the other side, so that we will correct the reports. We will correct the reports and build consensus, and come back to this House, Mr. Speaker.